And one thing, which the thing I think when I found Hayden, which I really appreciate, which I've noticed with you too, and something I try to put out there is, it's not a perfect journey. There's struggles along the way. Things don't go right, and sharing those thoughts and sharing the process is such a cool thing. I really appreciate seeing that, to be honest with you, and seeing that, like you said, there's guys out there that are physical specimens. I mean, the David Goggins of the world. I mean, Grant, he came from a really a horrible place. His body was failing him, and he found a way. But now he's there. He's now that physical specimen. It's like I like seeing more people in the journey, digging deep, behind, not getting all the accolades, not making all kinds of money, struggling through it.
Yeah, well, one of the things, so being in the fitness community, you start to learn a couple things, and that's that people don't always show everything. They're not as transparent as they say they are. And I know a lot of people that do fitness, and they put out their best workout stuff, but they never talk about the struggles that they're having, the bad workouts, maybe they have a bad cheat day, or the emotional eating that they go through. Most people don't talk about that stuff. You don't talk about your failures in the industry because you don't want to talk about it. You want to make it look like you're a perfect person. You don't talk about your failing friendships and relationships stuff, because that's not cool. You want everything to be perfect. And when I started my fitness journey, I had started going down that path, and I caught myself. And I said, this isn't me. Like, I'm going to fail. I'm going to struggle, and I'm not afraid to talk about it. So when I started YouTube, one of the focuses I had with that was, I can show you the struggle. Because training for an Ironman, training for a marathon, a half marathon is not perfect. There are days your runs are going to suck. Your bikes are going to suck. Your swims don't go the way you want. I want to make sure that I highlight those as opposed to the successes. And this year alone, I've had one of each. I've had my highest of highs and my lowest of lows in the same year. And I wasn't afraid to show either one of them. I mean, you've probably seen in my videos the days where I talk about, the one that was called I'm Done.
Yep.
I legit wanted to quit. 6 weeks from race day or whatever it was, I legit wanted to just stop it and just say, I'm done with this year. I don't want to do it anymore. And you get to a point like that. And I knew those dark places were going to happen. I said it in the very first episode of Chasing Kona season 1 was, I'm going to be going to some dark places, but I have to fight my way out of it, knowing that there's a light. And that was the darkest place I had, aside from St. George. And when you know they're coming, you're better prepared for it. But you have to talk about it, because there's other people going through the same thing you went through. My buddy Colin, he's one of my best friends right now. He didn't finish Ironman Florida. He got pulled out of the swim at Ironman Florida. So when we raced in St. George together, and I got pulled out of the water in Ironman St. George, he knew the next morning he had finished his race. He had only slept like 2 hours. We were up at 4:30 in the morning outside talking about how I felt. And he knew exactly what I was going through, because he did it 6 months earlier, and people need to know that, yeah, that stuff happens too.
And it's these pursuits that we're on are a microcosm for life. You know what I mean? Like, life's going to throw challenges at you. You just got to make it through. You just got to, it's going to turn the other way. You're going to find a way. Keep at it. There's so much you can learn there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, 2020 was the most, and I'll come back. I'll make this quick. 2020 was probably the most difficult year I've ever had. I got fired from my job. I had to put my dog down. We all know COVID happened. My mother-in-law got second round of breast cancer. My house got struck by lightning. I mean, it was a mess. People were getting sick. My cousin got diagnosed with cancer at 30 years old or 29 years old. She passed away this April at 31. I mean, the last couple of years were tough, but we forced our way out of it. And, people need to know they weren't the only ones. And, the more people talk about that, the struggles during all that, and not so much the successes, I think everybody will be better off.